Job 1 verses 1 to 22 through the Bible. Chapter 1, Part 1. Theme: Drama in Heaven and on Earth. Land of Uz. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Job 1, verse 1. The land of Uz was somewhere in the Middle East, but beyond that, there is nothing specific known about it. The historian Josephus gives us a glimmer of light on its location. In Genesis 10 verses 22 and 23, Uz is listed as a son of Aram, a son of Shem. In Genesis 22 verses 20 and 21, Huz, or Uz, is the firstborn of Nahor, who was Abraham's brother. Josephus tells us that Uz was the founder of the ancient city of Damascus. Damascus is, in fact, the oldest, continuously inhabited city in the world. So I think we can say that Job lived somewhere in the Syrian desert. That same desert is the place where the Lord sent the Apostle Paul for his postgraduate studies. God schooled and disciplined many of his men out on that desert. My friend, your land of Uz and my land of Uz may be in different places geographically. It could be any place on this earth. That is not the important matter. The important thing is that there are certain lessons God wants us to learn in that place. We are told that Job was perfect. What does it mean when it says he was perfect? It means he was perfect in his relation to God in the sense that he had offered the sacrifices, as we will see in verse 5. In those days, the sacrifice was a burnt offering. Then we read that he feared God. He had a high and holy concept of God and, as a result, he hated evil. You can see that he is different from modern man who is without any knowledge of God. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. Job 1, verses 2, 3. He had a wonderful family of 10 children. He was very wealthy, and they all just lived in luxury and ease. He had camels for transportation. He must have been in the trucking business of that day. He also had she-asses for milk. That was considered a delicacy in that day. It's one delicacy that I'm willing to miss, by the way. This man lived in the lap of luxury. The last part of verse 3 would indicate to us that he was Howard Hughes, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, and the oil men of Texas all rolled into one. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. Job 1, verse 4. They were living in the lap of luxury and certainly had it easy. But notice that in the midst of all that plenty and ease, there was a fear in the heart of Job. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. Job 1, verse 5. The thing that interests me is that he didn't feel that he needed an offering. He felt that he was right with God. But he thought that maybe these sons and daughters weren't as close to God as they should be, so he offered sacrifices for them. He was the high priest in his own family. Now this is the end of scene 1. It is a gorgeous scene of a wealthy man with a lovely family living with an abundance of everything. But he had one fear in his heart. It is a fear that a great many folk have today about their sons and daughters. He recognized that he couldn't cope with that problem himself, so he went to God. My friend, there are a great many parents who are distraught today because they have a son or daughter who has left home and gotten into trouble and is maybe even on drugs. Many of these parents have never been able to go to God themselves as Job did. As a result, they carry with them problems that they cannot solve. Job knew where to go with his fears. He offered a burnt offering for his children. That burnt offering speaks of Christ. This man is a man of God.